Agenda mapping. Agenda mapping will happen in the focusing process and will help you focus on the right things faster. It will be useful when there isn't a clear primary focus or you're struggling to find the right topics to talk about with someone. If you're looking to now focus on a behaviour change topic or topics, well, good news, you're in the right place. You can use agenda mapping. You can do this whether you're face-to-face with someone or you're working remotely. It's important to make sure that when you're talking with someone around agenda mapping, that you use a hypothetical focus. Hypothetical focus and options allow us to consider all of the options without putting pressure on the client, and too much pressure leads the client to resistance. Hypothetical options involve using the words might or could, and may also involve asking for permission. So let's see what these sound like. You can ask, would it be okay to consider some topics that we might discuss? Or, could we take a few minutes to look at options for our conversation? Or, would it be useful to get an overview of things we could discuss today? You can say, what would you like to cover today? Or, what's important for you to talk about today? Okay, so what do we do next? Well, let's start with face-to-face. Take a piece of A4 paper and draw a few oval circles or bubbles on it. I like to use this because it doesn't add a specific priority or order to what we're discussing. So we're not tempted to just go down the list one by one as we've written them. It allows a little more exploration. Once the person's given you a few options, you can then say, well, these are some of the things that I want to talk about. And then you can write those in some of the remaining boxes. Once you've got that written, you'll have some options that the person has asked you to write in, or maybe they've written them in themselves, and some options that you've also put in that you're interested in taking forward. You would then ask something along the lines of, where makes most sense to start? There are a few other options, and we'll go with those later, or you can come up with your own. Give the person the autonomy to get started. Put them in the driver's seat of the conversation. And remember, you're in the passenger seat, so part of your role is to make sure that we continue to go where we're supposed to be heading. When you feel you've covered that particular point, ask, is there anything else on this topic that you feel we've missed? Or something similar. When the person says no, it's time to move on to the next circle. You're probably not going to get to cover every single circle. It's important for you that you also talk about some of the things that you've written down and to cover those too. You might say to the person, I'd really like to cover this circle next, and after that, you can choose where we go. Your stuff is important too, so make sure you have added in a couple of things that you want to talk about. An agenda map is for life, not just for a single session, so make sure you keep it. The person may have thought of something over the last couple of days or week, or however long it is since your last session, and they may want to add something in. You may also have one or two things that you didn't get to cover that you'd really like to. And that is agenda mapping.